Hi everybody, Tammy here. Welcome to my channel, and I'm going to show you how to open up a Blythe doll head today. So I have gotten into customizing again, and I've had a little bit of success, and I wanted to share my journey with you. One of the things that you have to do when you start customizing dolls, the Blythe dolls, is take their heads apart. So I'm going to show you how I take their heads apart. And I will say I struggle with hand strength sometimes. I have bone loss in my wrists, and so that can be kind of a pain sometimes. But I've been managing to get it done, and every once in a while I have to get my husband to help me. But generally speaking, I'm trying to do it on my own so I don't bother him with that kind of thing. So this dolly is one that I got from a viewer. She donated a number of dolls to me, and this doll is a little bit customized. The eyes that she has now are new eye chips that the other gal put in. She also has some artwork on her back plate. And let's see, let's take another look at her other eye chips. I believe these are the only ones that she changed. So let's take a look, see. These are the side gray, the front blue, and the side brown. So yeah, so she just changed out the one set of eye chips, and I love these. I'm going to keep them. She also added some charms and beads to the pull cord. Oh, there, get it in the shot. Okay. And I do have plans to do some additional customizing on this doll. I am giving this doll to my sister to use. She's going to be visiting soon, and we're going to do some beach trips. And so instead of her hauling one of her dolls down here, I said, I'll bring a doll for you to use. And I thought it would be fun to do some light customizing on this doll. Now, she already, besides the fact that she's got the back plate decorated and eye chips changed in one of her sets, she also has a matte face. She came already, this is a factory fakey matte face doll. So she came this way. I'm pretty sure the other person did not put any sealant or anything on her. So my thoughts right now, I plan to give her sleepy eyes and paint her eyelids. But for this particular video, I'm just going to show you how I take one of these dolls apart. And I'm going to try to do it slowly with the assumption that maybe you haven't never done this before. She is, by the way, wearing a little bikini that I made. I guess these are a tankini. So I made this last summer. And yes, we're going to leave that on her bod. And in order to work on her, the first thing I have to do is take her head apart. So I'm going to do that first. Notice I have a towel here, and that's because it's just a regular dishcloth type towel that I've doubled. It's old and stained, so it's perfect for this kind of thing. I don't have to take care of it. And I have it so that when I put her face down, that I limit the possibility of scratching up her face. And so that's to help with that. As far as supplies for taking her apart, I have this little screwdriver set. You will definitely need a Phillips head. Let me get the bigger one so it's easier to see. You need a Phillips head. We call it a Phillips head. I think in other countries they call it something different, but it's basically the type of screw that's this way. It's got an X to it. So you need a screwdriver that fits into the X. And you can see it's quite a small screwdriver. Quite small. So anyway, so I have these, and then I also have this little tin. When I open her up to give her sleepy eyes, I'm going to need to take, there's a little spring inside and some other small parts like screws and stuff, and I have found it, just to make sure that I don't lose them, I found it useful to have this little tin, and when I take stuff out, I put it all in here, the cord and everything. I'll keep it in here so that when I come back to work on her, everything is contained and I don't lose any parts and pieces. So let's take a close look at the back of her head. There are multiple parts to these Blythe doll heads. And this is called the back plate. And the back plate has a number of screws. It's 3 screws. Typically there will be 3 screws. One up here at the top, and then one on either side. All right. So the very first thing I need to do is get my Phillips head screwdriver in there and unscrew them, and hopefully they will be easy to do. Let us see. Depends on how tight they are. So to help keep her hair out of the way, I got a human size ponytail holder, and I just put her hair in a ponytail way up high. All right, so I'm going to try the top one first. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So I'm twisting it to the left. Yay, it's working. Not hard at all. All right, get my little 10 out. There we go. And take the other one out. Yeah, not bad. Like I said, it looks. I'm using quite a bit of muscle here for my. For me, it's a lot of muscle, but like I said, I have very weak hands and wrists, so it's not what is more difficult for me is less difficult for regular people. Woo, I got it. All right, there we go. So I got my 3 screws out. I'm going to put those up there on my sewing machine. Put it out of the way. All right, so she's got her screws out. Now the next thing to do is crack her open. You can see there's a seam up here, and there's a seam all around her face. So this is her front faceplate. This is her back faceplate. We want to open her up on the side. And typically what you can do is press, let me get this out of the way, press on her and crack her open. All right, so you can see she's starting to come apart a little bit here. That's good. That's what we want. Oh, yeah. Good, good, good. More of that. All right, so let me get a little bit more on the other side. Again, I'm a weakling. So there we go. Now, I'm going to take... There we go. Oh, sometimes I'll take a screwdriver and just push it in there and pop it open, but you have to be careful because you can end up damaging and getting this all chewed up if you do that. Ask me how I know. All right, so it's open. There comes the body. Just pops right out. All right, so that's the inside of her head. You can see there's a spring there. There is the pull cord through the hole, right? And various other thingies, but let me just mention this spring. I am going to take this spring out because I'm going to give her sleepy eyes. I do keep the springs just because, I guess, in case I ever want to use them again. If you want to do sleepy eyes, you don't need the spring in here. If you do not want sleepy eyes, you'll need to put the spring back in. So you can see it's right here. It's hooked on here and hooked down here. And I need a pair of pliers for that. Oh, or maybe not. Or you could just pull it and it pops out. But typically I use a pair of bent nose pliers like this, and I get in there and just pop it out like that. So it's still attached on the one end, so I will use my bent nose pliers, but you can see there's just like a hook on either end of the spring, so it is very easy to take off. You got to get your little fingers in there. Just came right out. Right, I'm going to put that in my little tin so that I keep it just in case I want it for later. All right, we got the spring out. I also brought a little pair of scissors with me because the next thing I want to do is, and again, this is how I do it. This isn't the way everybody in the world does it, just FYI. But I'm going to go ahead and take this pull cord off, and you can see how it's inside here, right here. One of the things that I did when I first started doing this so I would remember how to put the doll back together again is right here I would actually take a photograph so that I remembered how to put this back together again. So just FYI, it's kind of a good idea. I found it quite helpful. All right, so I'm just going to use my pliers and get the hold of the knot here. And pull that. And I just snip that knot right there. And pull the cord out. And I'm going to leave all the beads on here for now. I am, like I said, I'm going to give her sleepy eyes. So I don't know if I'm going to necessarily keep this cord as is. It is awfully cute though. Look at that little, oops. Look at that little charm with the little kitty. I love this charm. And I really love this one. So we'll see. We'll see what we shall see. So again, I'm putting that in my tin so I don't lose it. And right now I have the back plate completely done, taken apart. So I'm going to just set that aside. Now you notice we still have this top here. Okay, there's actually a couple of sections here for the top, and you can see we have some more screws in here. We've got a screw right here. This is keeping in what's called the T-bar, even though it looks nothing like a T to me. But this little white thing here is the T-bar. And then there's another screw back here. Hopefully you can see that. It is really hard to get to, but it is keeping the dome on the doll. And I am going to take that screw out. That's a toughie one to get to. But yeah, let me take out the T-bar first. Again, it's the type of screw that is kind of like shaped like an X or a cross, so you need what we call in the US a Phillips head. And yay, this is easy to undo, yip-de-doo-dah. In fact, before I take it apart, let me mention, so the purpose of this T-bar is there's little notches on the eye mechanism, and it helps, it navigates the eyes when they flip. So some people actually trim the T-bar down a little bit to make the eyes wider. I do not. I believe it's called boggling. That's not something I like to do, at least right now. So I like to see some of the eyelids. All right, so there's that one screw. Put it in my little tin, and then popping off the T-bar. Here we go. Popping off the T-bar. This is super important. Whatever you do when you take a doll apart, don't lose this. Okay? And in fact, if you do decide to trim it, you have to trim it the teeniest, tiniest, littlest bit ever, because if you trim it too much, the eyes won't turn. So, ask me how I know. All right. So now I'm going to get that screw that's way back there. Let me see it. I'm going to attempt get my, there you go. See that screw way back there? I'm going to get it. Again, this is why you want to have something soft here. All right, I feel it coming. Lefty loosey. There you go. It's a coming. Let me go and take it all the way. This one, for whatever reason, has typically has not only a screw, but a washer with it as well. On the screw, this little part here. Again, putting it in my tin. Save it for when I put her back together again. So now we have the face plate. And the eye mix are still in there. We're going to take those out first, or at some point. And then here is the scalp. So we've got two pieces here, a scalp and a dome. I'm not going to take these apart because I don't plan to change out her hair. But if you were going to give her some different hair, this is a piece and this is a piece, and you would pop these apart. Someday maybe I'll do that, but on my channel, but right now I don't need to, so I'm going to keep these together. All right, so I'm going to set her little scalp aside. I do love this hair, so we are going to use it on the doll. All right, so the next thing I got to do, because I do plan to paint the eyelids, I got to get this eye mech out of here. And you can see it's basically just pops right in. There's two little like hole things that it goes into. To me, this is one of the trickiest ones, again, because of my lack of hand strength. But you pull off, you pull this off, and then you pull this out. One thing I've learned and read and watched videos about, do not pull on this part. You can see how thin this is, so you don't want to pull on any of this inner stuff here because you could break it. Instead, you want to pull on the bigger pieces. That's her eyelids there. See that eyelid? So pull this off to the side and off to the right and pull this up. That's what you're supposed to do. Let's see if it'll work. Got it. Once I get it, then it just comes out. But this is, like I said, for me, it's one of the hardest things, pulling it out because of my weak fingers. So now I have eyeballs. Okay. You see the eyeballs? There's all the eye. Now, if I were to change her eye chips, this is, I would still need to take this mechanism part out of the cover. But, or I guess I don't have to, but typically they do. But I am going to, and her eyelashes are fine. She's got really good eyelashes. So, yeah, so I have, let's see all the little parts and pieces we have here. Alrighty. We've got the face plate, eye mech, her bod, her back plate, and her scalp and dome. All right, so she's all taken up, and of course the tin with all the little parts and pieces. You see all that? All right, so she's all taken apart. That is how I take apart a Blythe doll. Obviously, if you take apart a Blythe doll, at some point you probably want to put the doll back together again. But stay tuned for future videos. I am going to show you how I decorate these eyelids and how I create sleepy eyes, and then I will put the doll back together again. I don't know if I'm going to do that in one full video or maybe break it up into a couple videos, but this video I just wanted to show you how to take apart a Blythe doll. Alright guys, make sure you give this a thumbs up, and of course if you haven't subscribed, please do so already. I will have more customizing videos, and I actually have a customizing playlist set up. And as usual, have a wonderful dolly day. Bye bye.